Welcome back to Azart. My name is Nick, and I have Kyle with me. Pecos with a zero on Instagram. Go check out his Instagram account. He's a super talented artist. He also designed these cool Galavespian shirts with the dragonflies. Go to azart.space to get your shirts. But today we're answering comments from episodes 5 and 6. You guys had quite a few right away. This is the day after it was basically posted, the video. So we're going to be going through some comments. Thank you for everyone that commented, and we have other comment videos and we do episode reviews, but we're going to do our best to answer these questions. FYI, Kyle's not fully caught up, so I might be doing a lot of it.
He might be doing a lot of explanation for me because, yeah.
But he's here.
I am, of
he's
course,
traveling
always
and he's
happy.
Here. Yes.
Yes, I am, of course, always happy to read comments. So, this comes from Be a Dragon, and they say, "Oh, thanks, you guys. You answered my question. I'm honored. Made my whole day. I love your channel. Happy holidays. Thumbs up, heart."
Yes. Thank you so much for commenting. I saw you also.
Well, thanks, Dragon.
You also commented again. We're going to be reading your other comment, but thank you so much. We enjoy reading comments, even if it's something nice and sweet like that.
Yeah, you know. And now, the precocious Pepper Jones says, "Thank you so much for this and all your HDM vids. No one else is covering HDM in such detail, and I appreciate it. I have no one to nerd out about this who's read the books, so I really appreciate the commentary on the series." Thanks, Pepper.
Yeah, that's what we do here. We have deep dives.
Yeah.
We're really big fans of the book. And the
Yes.
show. I mean, I enjoyed season 1 and 2. I'm enjoying season 3 too. I understand the restrictions around time
Right.
and writing and all that stuff. I just, when I point out the videos, I just point out the things different from the books, which there's going to be a lot. But it's good though. Like overall, it's a good show. Good acting, good VFX. Yeah, I'm always happy with.
To be honest, I'm just impressed they got all the way to all three of the
right.
books. Like, yeah.
Everyone that's tried only
Yeah.
did the first one, which was been only one other try, but
Yeah. That's, you know what, that's true. Fade Sirvi says, "OMG, I was so expecting this vid."
yes.
Which
Thanks
vid
for
is
being
that,
the
Nick?
first comment too. That was the one that just aired yesterday.
Oh, nice. Okay,
Yes.
yeah. Okay, so then this comes from Karen Naropa Baker, and she says, Ioric is exposition bear.
Oh.
I'm really glad they didn't have Ioric eat Scoresby. There would be no way to make that work in this show. The A24 Pullman movie would be something. I was fine with these 2 episodes, but I understand that the channel with a Galavespian shirt would wonder, where are the Galavespians? You are really dialed in, Karen.
Yes.
Yes.
By the way, go to azart.space to get the Galavespian shirt. And but yeah, so I have to fill you in on this, Kyle, because you're not caught up with the show.
Yeah.
So basically, Lord Asriel finds out where Lyra and Will are in the land of the dead, not through the alethiometer reader that they have there. He goes to York, the bear, which technically we don't hear from York until the battle. After he leaves them, remember he pops in at the battle at the end. So he goes to York and he questions him about what happened, and that's how he gets the info to tell, like, you know, Mrs. Coulter and stuff like that, what's going on. So they used him as basically exactly what the comment said, and then
as exposition
bear.
bear.
And
Wow.
no matter what, I'm gonna say until the very end, I miss the Galavespians. I they're such a huge part in the land of the dead. They actually find Roger. So in the book, they find Roger. They also talk to the harpies to convince them to, a lot. There's a lot that happens at the land of the dead, and and also
do they breeze through it or something?
Even the battle. Well, there is no Galavespians in the land of the dead. So So basically, it's like Land of the Dead was really sped up. The story was really sped up. But I can't wait for you to watch it.
The other thing that Karen mentioned was Ioric eating Scoresby.
Yeah, because I mentioned that.
So that I remember that. That's freaking metal.
Yeah.
Right? Like in the books, isn't it also a part of like their culture?
Well, yeah.
Like it's a sort of honor to ingest them. And,
yeah, because Serafina Pekkala puts a spell on him so he's preserved. And then she goes to York and she's like, Lee died. I left his body. And then that's what, after he goes and eats him, that's when he moves the bears when he comes back.
That's
and then he meets up with Will. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think they should have been brave enough to do it. You know?
It would have been so sick to see York eat.
Oh,
What's that
man.
actor's name? Lin Manuel.
I think, yeah. All right. So, Jevon Inoue. Sorry if I mispronounced that. Jevon Inoue, maybe? Well, please be kind. No. So, why is episode 7 and 8 out? It's on streaming sites. Was there a leak? Great review, by the way.
Yes. So what I've been informed through other comments too, that BBC like released all the episodes at once, because this is a BBC HBO show. They're both like partners on it since the beginning. So they released it all at once. I think that's what I'm gathering from the BBC streaming service. I don't have that, so I'm just gonna wait till next week to do the final review. You guys are more than welcome to join me even afterwards too. We will be here covering his Dark Materials whenever you guys are ready to do the book comparison stuff. But if you're jonesing for the
An
end,
exhaustive, in-depth deep dive of the entirety. No.
yeah,
Oh boy.
go over there
man.
and eat Lee. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Well, Tiffany Malira TV says, "Thank you for covering this show. Not a lot of people do. I love it. I love it here. Team.
Lyra and
I love
Will.
it here. Team Lyra and Will. Heart.
I mean, yeah, you have to be Team Lyra and Will. If you're not, you're like Team Angels, I guess.
That's one thing I'm kind of like regretting not being caught up, because I want to see more of their chemistry, like both Lyra and Will's chemistry for the actors, because I think they've both been doing a great job separately, but like this is where they're starting to get more like intimate, right? So I'm like, okay, like how do they do that? How do they act for that?
One thing they did, which was interesting, I didn't talk about it in the review, but they kind of do a love triangle thing in the Land of the Dead with Roger, Will, and Lyra.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's like, I want to say it's a love triangle, but it's like he's jealous how close Will is to Lyra, kind of thing. And in the book, it's like mentioned briefly, like when he sees Will, but it's not like lingered upon like right away, because there's so much other stuff that has to happen. Like Will doesn't even have time to talk to his dad really. Like you know what I mean? Like when Will sees his dad, it's like, quick, cut the hair, put it here, and boom, and like there's like a big explosion, and then the abyss is created, and then they're like have to go here, and then there's something else I have to tell you too.
Oh boy.
So Lee Scoresby is the second person to leave the Land of the Dead. He doesn't stay and fight. Because remember how Roger's the first to go, right? When they have it in the Mulefa world. Yeah. And then Will or John Perry is like, hold on, Lee. We have to wait for the opportune moment so we can fight the specters, basically. In this whole thing. Right. So, but no, Lee Scoresby is the second person to leave and become one. So I don't know if they're even going to have the ghosts fight the specters.
Oh man,
they're
kind of the ones that kind of really help out.
Yeah, because the specters, nothing could stop the specters.
Yeah, except ghosts.
Maybe angels.
Yeah,
because the angels are able to keep the specters at bay.
Right.
Remember when the angels follow Mary Malone? She's like safe from the specters when she crosses the world. Yeah. But next comment. Woo! After that high note, yeah.
So Nick Dogwit says, "Why is Dust leaving the Malefa world?" All right, Nick, you're gonna want to take a seat because this is gonna take a while. Yeah. No. So basically, every cut the knife made. This might be spoilers, maybe. But every time the knife cuts into another world, it basically, there's like an infinitesimally small sliver of like the shadow world, basically. Whatever that bomb exploded is the abyss. And there's a sliver of the abyss between each slice of a world, right? So what happens is every time the knife cuts it, it releases a little bit of that shadow world into the other multiverse, right? So what's happening is, the dust also seeps into the abyss, never to return. So it's doing
an endless void, basically.
Exactly. It's doing this. It's double-edged sword. It's not. Yeah. It's not great.
And also in the book too, when Will sees the abyss, he recognizes the feel of the cut. He's like, "This is the knife on a giant scale." So basically, the abyss is the knife on like a massive scale, kind of thing.
Yes.
So
without finesse.
Yeah, without precision. The finesse and like the shaky hand.
Yeah. I don't know why you just do the shaky.
I don't know either.
Okay.
He shakes his hand a lot after it breaks. He's like, Mr. Like, I'm not confident in the books. You know what I mean? I also really like that scene too in The Land Dead. She's like, look at me, Will. Remember when he's like about to cut? Yeah, anyways.
All right. Well, Dumisa Nkinda says, so in episode 7, Will cuts open this cube with a mummy-like character and disappeared after, and there is no explanation for that. Could someone please explain who that is? Well, Dumisa,
Well,
that's
lucky for you, we just did a whole video.
We just did. You can go check that out. But in short, it's the authority. It's God, Yahweh, whoever you want to call it. Yeah. So God died.
Mufasa.
Yeah. Your God will die, depending on when. Yeah.
Which was part of the prophecy too, was destroying God, right? I think, or something like that. But anyways, we did an in-depth breakdown because of your comment, because we figured people were going to have a lot of questions. So we really broke down the authority. We did like a deep dive. We already have an authority video, but we did like just one focus on his death and explained it right here. If you guys want to go check that out, we saw this comment, but like this is going to probably be more than one question kind of thing.
It's going to be a real hot topic.
It's going to be a doozy.
So this next one also comes from Be a Dragon.
Welcome back.
And they say, thanks again for covering this and taking the time to give us a shout out during your deep dives into all of our questions. First question. If when people die, they go automatically to the land of the dead, theoretically, wouldn't the Queen Witch and the Archbishop, the main bad guy that just died instead of Coulter, be there as Lyra and Will are leading them all out? So we'll answer that question first before I go on to the second one. Oh yeah. And then she also says, or are they really dead?
Yeah. So, Roger got severed. He ended up in the land of the dead.
Yes.
So the father's going to be there too, or not? What's his name? What's the father's name?
McPhail.
McPhail. It's something that guy, the guy with the he's going to be there too. But remember how long it took for Lyra and Will to get to the land of the dead? They had to go on the holding dock. They had to get on the boat.
That's right.
Then they have to get through the gate, through the harpies. And then they're already towards the end of the long trail you have to take to leave. So their sacrifice, even though they were going to try to stop them, allows them to have freedom after life and death. Isn't that pretty crazy? But one thing I want to bring up in the land of the dead in the books, there's religious people in the land of the dead that don't believe Lyra. And they start this like not revolution, but this like cult like following, like, don't leave the land of the dead. We have everything we want here. You know, the authority gave it to us. Do you remember that in the land of the dead? And so it's like, it's very funny. He might be leading that group maybe once he gets in there. Maybe he won't leave because he's so hardcore.
It's like, cool, you can stay there, I guess. Like,
yeah, exactly. So, I mean, technically, yes, he would be going through.
And so then Be a Dragon's second question is also, why did the Queen's demon eagle get sucked in when Lord Asriel was lower and just standing there on the precipice?
Yeah.
I'm trying to understand the main concepts here, and I haven't read the books yet. I wish they would give Ruth Wilson an Emmy for her depiction of Miss Coulter. Mm-hmm. Easily the best character in the show. I agree with you. Glad to see Serafina Pekkala is back and hoping she has way more to do in this finale.
Yes.
Awesome job, and looking forward to your insight on these questions.
Okay,
Happy
so
holidays.
Back to the witch. So Rutascarti, the witch, dies, and it's not in the battle. So basically, she sends her eagle. I know this is not in the books. She sends her eagle out over the void or the abyss, and because the eagle got too close, it got sucked into the abyss, and she dies.
Oh, okay.
And I think the reason why they did that is to set up how the Lord Regent's going to die. I think they just they visually want to show you like dust gets sucked in and it never comes out kind of thing. And I think that's what they were trying to show you with that in the story. It's not a bad story plot. She just leads the witch army, I think, in the battle at the end. We don't really even see her after that. It's all Serafina Pekkala when it comes to the end of the story, when it comes to certain things put in motion for the end. It's all Serafina Pekkala and the head of the angels. Oh, what's her name? What's the head of the angels' name?
Zephania.
Very close.
Zephania.
Yep. Okay. So, Zephania and Serafina Pekkala play major roles at the end of the story. So, and then Mrs. Coulter, the actor Ruth Wilson? Yes. She's been killing it. She's 100% probably my favorite character in the show. Any moment she has on screen is really good. Even though in the book it's kind of cool because everything's internal where you don't know what's going on with Mrs. Coulter, which gives for an amazing reveal at the end. because the whole
Yeah.
like her whole con is playing off until the end kind of thing. I don't want to say her whole con, but like everything's kind of revealed. Like no, maybe not even like that, but everything's revealed. But it's kind of cool to see her go through the process. Like they've given her so much extra screen time, which we don't get
Yeah.
in the books, which has just been a treat because she nails it. I'm a huge fan of the way she portrays the character in the show. Is it like the character in the books? Not 100%, but I really enjoy this Mrs. Coulter for sure.
Yeah. Very like I really do enjoy this interpretation of her as well.
Another biggie.
And so forgive me. I think this is Hebrew. I cannot read. Unfortunately I do not.
His name will
know
be up there on the
this-
screen.
Perfect. Okay. Yes. I apologize. I've just binge watched the 4 final episodes yesterday.
Cool.
My overall impression, which includes episode 5 and 6, was that things were too compressed. Some changed for the worse, like No Name, Gracious Wings, amazing design in my opinion. Too little build up and screen time.
Agree.
But if I may, some of those changes aren't too bad. The whole point of the battle for the Republic ended up being to get Lyra and Will to reunite with their demons, as per Lord Asriel's alethiometer. Quite frankly, Ruta Skadi was one of the few characters who didn't have very strong plot armor. I don't remember much of her after the middle of TAS, I think. The Amber Spyglass, I think. An issue I'd like to raise, though, is underusing the alethiometer. Lyra is being asked what will happen when they get out of the land of the dead. Her answer? She doesn't know. And it's not like she has an all-knowing truth-telling device right there in her pocket or anything. Really hitting the nail on the head here, buddy. If they meant to indicate that it's because angels can't reach her there, it could stand a side mention. Perhaps she just left it at the Land of the Dead's docks. If so, a certain story beat will go missing. Overall, I still like the show, even with the differences. It's not perfect, but it's very good.
No, that's really strong opinions. I technically haven't watched the last 2 episodes yet. But with the things they've been cutting out, I won't be surprised if they cut out more, kind of thing, with the end. But one thing that was good, which got him back on book track, was Father Gomez is finally on his quest. So about time,
yeah.
Father Gomez got. But
Yep.
we have one more comment from you, which we're gonna read right now because it was a mistake
Yes.
on my part from the last comment video. Kyle,
This is from his.
you're gonna make
his
fun
Dark
of me, Kyle.
Materials-
You're gonna make fun of me.
Okay. All right.
I blew it.
So they give a timestamp at 4:07. I'm pretty sure the Golden Monkey never talked in the books either, or had a name for that matter.
Because I was telling Brittany, because for some reason, and it's so funny because now that I'm going back and I'm rereading and listening to the book, I could have swore for some reason that the monkey said one word at one point, but I guess that doesn't happen. I mean, I can't. Even when I'm going back, like I thought there was a moment where they connected and he said like one word or something, but I think I was wrong. So I'm sorry for that drop. And Brittany, I'm sorry too, because I was like, be excited when he says the word. I said something like that. So I really
Get
blew it.
ready.
I know. Yeah, I was even joking around like they're probably gonna hire Van Diesel to say I am Groot.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, I messed up. That was my bad. I 100% take the blame for that one. I'm sorry. For everyone else that reads and thinks that's going to happen, it's going to be a disappointment. Just know I said that I was corrected here, and we don't know how to read Hebrew or
this
whatever
far
it is,
and no
but yeah.
farther. All right. Yeah.
Go for it.
Well, moving swiftly along, Christopher Hicks says, I have not read the books, but I'm not lost as far as the story goes.
Good. Yeah, because
All right. Sweet.
I was really concerned for people because how quick they were jumping story beats if people were going to get lost.
Okay.
Because like things aren't explained. Like there was like 2 interactions with No Name, and then all of a sudden No Name saves Lyra. But like the whole reason in the book is because they're friends and they have the agreement to take them to the highest point. Like there's an agreement already made. Like we're gonna take you to the highest point. You're gonna follow us. Like they're already their guide, and this happens, and then she falls, and then. But so it's like it was just weird that all of us they only went like a couple times, and then all of a sudden she like saves her, and she's like, "I'm gonna call you Gracious Wings," So, anyways, but go on.
Wow. Okay.
Next comment.
So the man who cusses like a sailor, Andrew McClenning, says the way they introduced Will during the first series was amazing. If they'd introduced him in the second series, it would be extra long, like 9 episodes.
That's true.
Yeah.
No, that was true.
Oh,
I
for sure.
was a big fan of that too. Like halfway through season 1, they started showing Will.
Yeah,
I like
that.
that.
I was like, okay,
because we would have
Yeah.
spent the whole first half of the book or first half of season 2 trying to get to that point.
yep.
I thought that was a
And-
smart choice.
And the hottest, sorry, and the hardest radio, sorry, and the hottest radio station in the multiverse, FM
Welcome
Aries
back.
says, "I'm deaf one." Oh, this is a
Yeah.
This is a repeat. Cool. Welcome back, FM Aries. I'm deaf one who is confused. What is the significance of the dead being set free? How did it weaken Metatron? Is Metatron a transformer? Great question. I'll answer that last one. No, he is not.
No, even though I might say Megatron at times. So
Yes.
it could have been me. I could have made him a transformer by accident.
Yes.
But Autobots, roll out. But do you want to answer that? You can.
Yeah.
You can
So, what is
definitely
the
answer this.
significance of the dead being set free? Essentially,
Well,
it's actually a philosophical statement, but but yeah, basically the dead being set free is that, like, think about it. If the afterlife is just being in a giant slum for all of eternity, that fucking sucks. Sorry, that really sucks.
and what's cool too is the dead gets to become one again with their other halves.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So that's the thing, is like, do you want to be stuck in a crappy slum for all
Yeah.
eternity, or do you want to reconnect your being with the universe?
Yeah. Mhm.
Right.
And also,
So I'd vote for column B.
part of the battle too was to set them free because they wouldn't have been able to win without the
Right.
the people or the land of the people of the dead. People of the dead. That makes
That's
sense.
right.
Or the dead.
They basically do a Lord of the Rings thing where all the ghosts come and
Yeah. And
rush. Yeah.
I don't know if it weakened him at all.
Yeah, I can't remember
I just-
if it did or not.
I just think it's really random. He didn't know what was happening. Like this being released and they couldn't find Lyra, but they knew her demon was out there in the open kind of thing. But no one knew what she was going to the land of the dead for really. And once it happens, it kind of catches them off guard. And
Yeah.
then the battle, it just kind of gives them the upper hand for a quick second, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, Fale Dulogis says, Nick, I love your content.
Thank you.
I am so happy you covered this, as it's been 10 years since I read the books. Everything about the Land of the Dead was my favorite in the books, and I like how they show it in the series too. Keep up with the videos.
I'm glad you like
Hell
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nick is very awesome.
Oh,
And
please.
he is producing quality content here, folks.
Oh, only when Kyle's here. Other than that, it's pretty mediocre.
Oh my gosh, Nick. Don't sell yourself short. All right. Well, Perry says, I know this is a cursed opinion. oh boy. Okay.
That's a great way to
But I
start.
read the books, and honestly, I'm loving the changes they've made. Oh, I see now. It makes the last book make way more sense, and it flows with how they've built some of the characters thus far in the other parts of the TV show. They have Pullman as an executive producer, so he was there with this every step of the way.
Maybe.
I mean, fair point.
Yeah, but we never know with executive producer stuff. Like it can be pretty lame. Not lame, but they can slap someone's name on it, but it doesn't mean that they're actually a part of it.
It could be for
sometimes.
show.
But
in a way. But who knows? I mean,
overall, though, I think he is pretty happy with everything. I saw him do an interview with the actress Ruth, who plays Mrs. Coulter, and they seemed like they were really enjoying the book material and like really enjoying it. So I don't think he had any regrets, and he probably understands budget cuts and like time condensing and stuff, because a lot of the main plots are still there. It's still a good show. It's not like I'm
the
leaving.
major beats.
Like when I left Rings of Power, I just felt like what a waste. Like what is going on here? You know what I mean? Like the build up in stories where I feel like at least we're getting good content out of this series still.
Yeah, and to go back to that, Perry, it's not a cursed opinion. It's an opinion,
Yeah.
right? And like, to be honest, I mostly agree with it. So you know,
If Kyle agrees with it, then you're a-okay, buddy. Kyle's opinion. His stamp of approval. Go over to his Instagram and say, thank you, Kyle. That goes with a 0.
Dan Cole says, his Dark Materials is one of my favorite series of books. I've reread them so many times. The series is okay, but it definitely has so many flaws. I'm watching the series with a non-book reader, and it's so confusing for him. The series is definitely suffering with being so short and because of the reducing of cost. The changes in the Land of the Dead, which Lyra able to touch them has been one of the worst parts for me. Although I understand that it would be expensive to make. In any case, I still have a lot of expectations about the next 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a tough one for me too, because I think that was part of the Land of the people dying. You don't ever get to touch them again, and I think that even goes through her head too. It's like she'll never be able to touch Lee Scoresby again. Like she always talks about how she wants to embrace him and she can't. So
it's very emotionally poignant. I remember.
Oh, and I think too, even after when No Face saves Lyra, there's a great moment between Will and Lyra where they're like holding each other, and they're like, and it wasn't just friends holding each other; it was the only humans that ever existed in that world to hold each other, where they can actually feel their heartbeats and stuff together, because they were the only ones there.
The only
Everyone
2
else was
heartbeats
dead.
in that realm. Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, that's intense. But when you can hug other people and stuff, it takes away from little moments like that. Hey, okay.
But yeah, it's just to go back to Dan's comment, like he brings up a good point. Like, what if all of the great things that you liked about the series in the books, right? They ended up taking out, for the series, right? You're gonna feel like you're like, what?
What what I'm gonna say to that? Read the books. If you don't like reading, get the audiobook. It's great voice actors. It's so entertaining. It's great writing. I highly recommend it. I mean, I say that every video, but I highly recommend it.
So Dan, Dan read he's a fan of the books. I guess his friend is a non.
I'm also just saying for anyone though, in general.
Sure.
Like I'm just saying, if you want to know, read the book. Sorry, I meant it for everyone. Dan, not you, because you're cool. You read the books. And everyone else is cool too, even if you haven't read the books. Everyone's cool.
That's right, including our next comment from Exy. Thank you. Love your videos. Great to get an insight on how it's supposed to be. Yes. Bada bingo. Thank you, Exy.
Yeah, thank you. A long one.
Okay. All right.
Coming to the end. Woo!
Yes.
We got this.
All right. So Lisa Harbor says, to be honest, I'm quite happy with how the Land of the Dead and this whole episode turned out. There are many scenes that kind of left me wanting for more of what I'd seen in the books, but I loved the scenes of Lyra telling stories and the visual effects with the light getting warmer as the people started to remember. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Okay,
yeah,
that's
that
cool.
that was a cool visual.
I think they had the liar part in the script at some point, or at least handled it kind of weirdly. Telling the truth and being truthful was a big thing in the episode, and yet the scene was missing where Lyra lies.
Yep.
And I thought her fall was a bit anticlimactic. We knew from the scene earlier with Will that you could fall in there if you look into the abyss for too long, and that Lyra knew not to do it. So it was really random when she just stopped, stared down, and then just jumped/fell.
Yeah.
But the scenes with Roger and Lee going off into the other world left me sobbing just like the part in the book did, although I'm bummed as well that they're probably not keeping the ghosts fighting specters part. But I loved the scenes with the Mulefa. Although it was a bit rushed, I love how much they've actually kept in, and the way they portray Mary talking to them and learning their language with the subtitles changing from Mulefa to English. That's cool.
No,
I didn't know
cool.
that.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
And
a lot in there.
No, that was great, valid. Excellent points. I totally agree with you with most of those. Actually, probably all of those things you said. And I'm sorry, guys. I'm just gonna state that now. If it comes off very negative, but most of my review is just saying what's different from the books, and obviously I'm gonna be bummed when something's not in the books, and you guys are getting my reaction fresh off the episode, so it's like but overall I'm still enjoying the show. Like I really am still enjoying the show. I'm happy we're even getting the end. It's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. We're even getting the finale for this thing. So.
Yeah.
And then Kyle,
It's kind of unreal.
I did add 2 new comments that I saw. Just so
I
we can
just
do
got
that.
the updates on Discord.
I was
So,
like, let's
yeah.
get them all in before we
Yeah,
end this
all right,
thing.
let's
I want to get
get 'em,
everyone's
yep.
comments in. I just added 2 more.
So I will say quickly to Lisa's comment about Roger and Lee going out, how she,
Yeah.
she was sobbing, and like, I think that's the thing. I mean, no matter what your opinion is, if it's able to elicit an emotional response in someone, then they've done
They did their job.
it's done its job. So yeah, great. All right. So we have a comment double here. So Horton Gorcuff says, Magisterium is the Vatican, Metatron is an angel. And then Barney Wiggins says, this is atheism for kids?
Yeah.
Shrug.
So that was off of
Yeah.
our authority video, which is a video where we explain the authority. That one we've had up for a while now, but just wanted to recognize them too, because yes, that's basically it when it
Yep.
comes to the and the
Horton,
authority.
you nailed it. Yep.
Yeah, that was perfect.
Yep. And also, Barney Wiggins, a little thing about me when you say this is atheism for kids. So kind of, at least for me. So this was the first book because I was like 12 and 13 when I read Subtle Knife and
cool.
and
Amber
Golden
Spyglass.
Compass.
Oh.
I don't think Amber Spyglass had come out yet, but it was the first books that made me question my Christian upbringing. So that's kind of hit the nail on the head with that one. So, Studio Room says, I appreciate your criticism. I read the books right before season 1 and have been disappointed with a bunch of things. I wish this was closer to the book. No.
Well, you're never going to get that. And I know, because I'm never going to get that. And I know that going into it, but I love the book so much. You just want to see certain moments, right? Like you visualize these moments in your head, especially in like the Land of the Dead. I love that whole sequence with the boatman and the suburbs and going through, and the harpies and the Gallivespians are on the shoulders. They're darting around, bringing life back into the world of the dead. There's just so many things I like about. That's probably the reason why I like the Amber Spyglass book so much, because the first half, it's like, okay, it's cool. There's an angel, there's a bear, they broke the knife, but like once they get into the Land of the Dead, that's what made it like my favorite book of the series, because it's just like, what is going on here? Like, this is crazy. And I always just wanted to see those moments, but hey, what can you do?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so Ashley Williams says, your videos are great. I'd be lost without them. Lol. HBO needs you for an after show. Italian hands.
How about an after show? I'm just kidding. We have lots of stuff to talk about. Lots of theories, lots of deeper dives, lots of lumulefas, lots of angels.
Nick, stop, please. No. He's on a roll, folks. I can't stop.
Well, thank you so much. I really enjoyed making these videos. I don't know what's going to happen after the series ends, but we do have a couple more deep dives planned. We'll probably do a big end of the season review, and we'll probably do what we do after all the books is we'll do a major book comparison through the whole season. We'll like blot down our major points and stuff like that and talk it through. So we'll definitely do a handful of videos after this. And if you guys want more, feel free to leave comments and stuff, because we would love to answer questions or get video idea topics from you guys too. That would be amazing, because just the conversation of the books alone are enough for us to keep going and talk about this. Like, I mean, I'm pretty fresh on it, because while I'm working and doing stuff, I have the book playing in the background. It's not like I'm physically focused on it, but I do have it in the background and stuff. So I'm rehearing things. Yes, I was wrong about the monkeys, or about the golden monkeys and monkeys in general. I don't know how to treat monkeys. No, I'm just gosh. Anyways, go to Instagram, Pecos with a 0. Follow Kyle. He's a super talented artist. He designed these cool Gallivespian shirts, just like the book. So if you're fans of the Gallivespians from the book, like Kyle is, that was like your favorite part of the books too, right? Those were like your favorite characters.
It was definitely one of them. Yeah, for sure.
But we will always imagine them with dragonflies in our heads. So
that's right.
But I guess it makes sense when they leave the Land of the Dead. I think their dragonflies are dead at that point, huh? I don't know. I can't remember honestly. I think they.
You might be right.
Or one of them died at least. One of them
does die, and I think it's like a really sad, like it's a really tiered. It's tiered.
So I'm pretty sure. I don't know, but subscribe.
I think it was Chevalier Tialis.
Yeah, because he was about to die anyways, because he was getting old, right? I think when he talks to Lee Scoresby or something, he says he only has like 2 days left to live or something crazy like that.
That's right, because their lifespans are shorter.
10 years. Right. I think their lifespan is 10 years.
Yeah.
if I'm correct. But we do a lot of deep dives here, so subscribe, comment other comments, give us other video topics if you want us to continue this conversation. Go to Azart.space for audio video links, and we'll see you on the next Azart. Boo! Galavespians forever!
Nice.
Oh, dragonflies.